Hey, good morning, Hope City. I'm Steve Stewart. Welcome to another daily devotional. I wanted to talk to you about a couple of the verses we read this past weekend, and we're in James 2. If you remember where we were talking about, James is going through a lot of the sin of partiality, and near the end of the verses we covered this Sunday, in verse 10 of chapter 2, he says, "For whoever keeps the whole law but fails in one point has become guilty of all of it. For he who said, 'Do not commit adultery,' also said, 'Do not murder.' If you do not commit adultery but do murder, you have become a transgressor of the law." And I love it. He's talking about the sin of partiality, and he goes into the whole law here. You know, if you're choosing to live by this law and you fail in one point, you're guilty of it all. So he's really bringing the law to fruition here. That we were slaves to the law, and we read in Scripture that there's no one innocent, no, not one. And so we know that when we were living by the law, we were bound by it. And, we get into this habit of picking and choosing laws that we like, don't like, whether we, do it on purpose or not. He points out they're committing adultery, committing murder, if you like one or you don't like the other. And, we become slaves to it. And we read a lot about that through a lot of Paul's letters and everything else. But we see as he rolls into verse 12 here, he says, "So speak and so act as those who are to be judged under the law of liberty." And I love this verse because the first time a believer comes to something like this in Scripture, it seems a little ironic, doesn't it? It's the law of liberty or freedom, right? So how is there freedom under this law? And this law of liberty we're talking about here is regarding the law of Christ that we read about so often in the New Testament. And so how is there this law and how is there this freedom? And he goes on in 13 that for judgment is without mercy to one who has shown no mercy, and mercy triumphs over judgment. So, just like we are shown mercy, we can try to follow the commands. Jesus says, if you love me, follow my commands, right? But we know that God deals with us mercifully. And James is reminding us here, the God that deals with us mercifully, that's how we are to live our lives. We are going to be judged the way we judge, or we're going to be shown mercy the way we show mercy. And so to get our head wrapped around a little bit, if we're struggling with that law and freedom, I think of the example of a dog. Imagine a dog, if you will. A dog may think he has freedom, and he's free to run around wherever he wants. He can bark however loud he wants, annoying your neighbors. He can run around and bite whoever he wants, and he might truly believe he has freedom. But if you think about it, that dog is going to end up being bound and chained, right? And so much like the law that no one can live under, when we go around under the guise of freedom, we eventually are going to be bound. We're going to be punished, and we've read that it leads to eternal damnation. And so think of it the other way. You take that same dog. What happens when that dog follows his master at his side? He's calm, cool, collected. He obeys. He does everything he's told. He follows the commands of his master. You can take that dog anywhere. That dog is going to earn freedom. You can take him wherever you want. You can take him to the store. He's off the collar, off the leash, and he has true freedom. You find freedom in obedience. So I like to bring that up because there's not a hypocrisy here. If we are obedient to our master, we truly gain freedom. And so that's what James is reminding us here. And he wraps up that part of the passage with mercy triumphs over judgment. So I just want to remind you, this beautiful law of freedom that we live under, and we are shown mercy under this law, we are to live our lives the same way. So let's think about that as we go out this week and we're dealing with our brothers, our sisters, our parents, our wives, our children. We are to live merciful because we live mercifully under the law of freedom. So that's all I got for you this week. God bless, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Hope City.